Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, y'all. How you doing? It's your girl, Sharita, the Behavior and Learning Strategist. Coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and literacy challenges. I got a good one for y'all today. All right, so we are focusing on, well, actually, I said behavior and literacy challenges. It's behavior and learning challenges now because I teach literacy, I teach math, and I also am now starting to teach Black history all year round. That I'm excited about. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're still accepting early enrollment, okay? All right, so how y'all doing today? I hope you're having a great Saturday. I hope you took the time, parents, to wake up in the morning and take care of yourself and take care of your children, but I hope that you snuck yourself in there because you know how we do, okay? I got my tea ready because I wanted to be drinking tea with y'all today. I wanted to share a cup of tea, so I'm a tea person. If y'all like tea or you like coffee, whatever it is, grab yourself some tea or some coffee, a notepad or some paper and a pen because it's about to go down. What are we talking about today? We are talking about how to improve our children's thinking. How to improve our children's thinking. Now, y'all know I'm all about growth, right? And to watch a child grow in their thinking and then have their actions and their choices begin to change in a way that serves them better and serves their family and their classroom better. They become leaders. It's something I just love to see. That's a great transformation. But in order to do that, I've learned over the years working with kids is we have to know what they're thinking, and we have to start teaching them and guiding them in positive growth thinking, okay? Now, I know that nowadays there's a lot of thought around letting children guide themselves, right? And express themselves, right? But I'm here to tell you that expressing themselves is important. But anytime we are looking at our children and the way that they are thinking and the way that they are expressing themselves is holding them back from growth, holding them back from academic success, keeping them wrapped up in their behavior cycle, they're failing in school, you know what I mean? They're always angry and upset, then they are not equipped to guide themselves and they cannot keep expressing themselves in the same way. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about how to change our children's thinking in a way where they work on their own thinking and they start to grow and change. And I love this. What inspired this topic today, this live? Because I had a couple of different ideas flying around in my head last night, y'all. And the day before, I was just thinking. But I had experience with one of my students. And she was having some trouble making good choices. And when I was talking to her, I found out that the way she was thinking, and she was very adamant about her thinking and about her opinions, the way she was thinking was really holding her back from so much in life that she was not aware of. Our children, because we've lived on this planet, right? We've lived here for a while. We have more experience. We know more about life than our children do. Some things they have to learn on their own, right? But some things we have to guide them and teach them. So when I was talking to her and I was hearing this and I was communicating with her mom too, you know what I mean? I was texting her mom was texting me. I was in a session with her. We were talking. It was great. It was great energy. All of us all together. I realized that she needs to change the way she thinks, or else she's going to be stuck in this spot forever. And she's not the only one. I have other students that recently changed their thinking and then started to grow as well and change their behavior. You can see it. You can see it. As soon as they changed how they're thinking about things, then you can see the transformation. All right. So, first of all, we have to examine and assess. You know, I'm all about that. I don't ever jump in and start teaching a kid or ever jump in and start coaching a kid until I assess to see where they are right now. What do they have? What are they missing? Right? So what you want to do is you want to observe your child and their actions. And also you want to listen to what they're saying when you talk to them about it. Because that will tell you how they are thinking. That will tell you how they are thinking. Okay, so let's address a common issue. Late or incomplete or not complete assignments in school. Okay, this is a big issue. Everything is pretty lax in a lot of schools, and kids will have the assignments piling up because they don't have to do much. Teachers teach, and then they help after that, and then they do study guides, and then sometimes there's open book tests, you know what I mean? And kids get extensions on their work, and they hand it in late, or maybe they wait until the end of the market period. Now they have all these assignments. In order to get this grade, you got to complete all these assignments. All of that stuff is a recipe for disaster. So we need to help our children develop self-discipline, organization, and we can't just tell them what to do. We have to see where they are first, and then we have to grow them, okay? So the first thing is, based on their actions, what are they thinking? Based on their actions, you watch your child, they may be, when they get home from school, you don't see them crack open a book, honey. They don't crack open a book. They don't be writing nothing down. They don't be reviewing their notes. They come home, they eat. They might take a nap. They be on their phones. They're doing their work. I mean, no, not doing their work. They are watching TV. They're playing the game for hours. When they come home, they just like, I'm just chilling. You know what I mean? And they don't have a routine and a structure. And there's no prioritization when it comes to learning. Okay? So, based on their actions, what are they thinking? Okay? They're thinking, this is not important right now. I'll do it later. I'll do it whenever I'm forced to do it. I'm putting it off. I'd rather be playing on the phone, watching the TV, playing the game, you know, that kind of stuff. All right? So the next thing, if you talk to them and you ask them about it, they're like, well, my teacher said I don't have to hand it in until ... Right? Or it's hard. It's too hard for me to do it by myself. Or it's too much work. Okay? That's too much work. Okay? Or can you just help me? Can you help me? Can you sit with me and help me do it? Okay? So this is their thinking. This is not just, it's based off of the adults. And this is not the blame game. This is just, we're going to change the structure and change the environment. It's based on the adults. What they've been able to get away with for so long, how much help they've gotten for so long, that now they're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? They're comfortable in procrastinating, okay? So all of those phrases, those sentences I just told you, I was acting like the kid, shows me that they don't think it's a priority, and they know that there's always someone going to be there to help them, and it's a safety net for them, and it's not really their problem, it's going to be somebody else's problem. I don't want to fail, help me not fail. What are you going to do to help me get my work done? Okay? So that kind of thinking, we have to change it, okay? How do you change it? First of all, and like I said, and welcome if you're just joining, happy Saturday. I'm excited to be here on a Saturday with you guys. I really wanted to be drinking tea with you and talking, so I made myself a cup of tea. If you want, go get yourself a cup of tea or coffee, whatever is your favorite. My favorite is tea, and a notebook and a pencil, or a pen. Now, we're going to post these questions that I'm going to give you next week. But write them down anyway. Write them down because you know how we watch things and we listen and we're like, yeah. But then after a while we get into life and into being a mom or dad, and then we forget, right? So if you want to implement the things that I'm going to give you today, write them down, all right? So that it could be fresh. Now, first thing we need to do is to make them accountable. So you want them to sit down and you want to give them some questions to write. You're not going to write them. They're going to write these questions, y'all. They're going to write these questions. Even if they have difficulties with writing, don't worry about that, because you know whenever I improve behavior, I'm also improving literacy at the same time, right? And spelling, all that good stuff. So we'll talk about that in a few, all right? But they have to write it. When they take a notebook and a pen or a pencil and start writing, they are now taking ownership and responsibility of their own growth. So they must write it. You give them questions, they're going to write it. Number one, ask them, well, what is the problem, right? What is the current problem? Like, what are you getting in trouble for? So ask them, what is the problem right now, okay? So we know the problem is I have a lot of incomplete assignments, or assignments overdue, or I'm not doing my work, right? Whatever it is. So have them write down the question from you, tell them, and then they will write down the answer on their own. On their own. Right now, they're just getting the questions from you, okay? Number two, ask them why. It's so important to ask kids why. Why are you doing this? Why are your assignments not in? Right? So they can think. We know why, right? We know what they're doing that's getting in the way of them making their assignments a priority, right? But you want them to think and you want them to say it out loud. Boom. Now it becomes real to them, and it's also starting to become a priority because they're starting to take ownership of it, okay? So first question, have them write down, what is the problem? Number two, why are you having this problem, right? Number three, what do you think about what you are currently doing? What do you think about it? I do that all the time. I'm going to pause for a second and sip my tea because what are you doing? What do you think about that? Like, is that the right choice? Like, is that the right way to handle this? You know what I mean? So what do you think about it? Have them write down, what do I think about what I'm doing? Okay. Next question. What should you be doing instead? What should you be doing instead? Now it's time for them to make a plan, right? Or think about, instead of missing my assignments, instead of never studying, because they said that earlier, I don't, when I come home, I don't do any work, or I wait till later to do it, or I start it and then I don't finish it. Whatever they're going to identify what the problem is, okay? And what they're doing that's causing this problem. Then you want to ask them, what should you be doing instead? Step back. Don't give them nothing. Don't tell them. Don't feed them, right? Don't help them. If they ask, what do you mean? I'm like, what should you be doing instead? That's how I do my students. I just ask the question again. Why? Because I want them to think. I want them to think. I'm not here to think for you. I'm not here to solve your problems. Yeah, I have strategies that I think up all the time, but I'm not always going to be here. And you're going to grow faster when you are thinking about what you're doing, becoming aware of it, and then starting to change it yourself, okay? So number one was, what's the current problem? Number two was, why do you have this problem, okay? Number three was, what do you think about what you are doing right now? What do you think about it? Number four, what should you be doing instead? And number five, y'all gonna love this one. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to fix it? Listen, moms, dads, step away. They have to think. They have to figure it out, okay? They have to figure it out to solve their own problems. If not, And they're going to be looking at you to solve their problem. They're going to be looking at their teachers to solve their problem. They're going to be saying it's your fault because you don't that. They're going to be saying it's the teacher's fault because the teacher don't teach me right. She don't help. You know what I mean? I've had that with my students as well. And I had to get their thinking together, right? As long as they're thinking like that, that means that they have not taken responsibility for it. They have no intention on changing it. Y'all better do something. Y'all better do something to change it, to fix this, or I'm going to fail. No, you better do something to fix it or change it, or you going to fail. And how would that feel? Okay? Very nice. I'm loving this tea right now. I hope y'all having a good time and enjoying yourselves, having a great Saturday, and taking care of yourself today. Enjoy yourself. If you work all week, during the weekend, put your feet up. I mean, I am working later. But Saturday, I'm free the whole day, morning and afternoon. So I'm loving it right now. And I'm so happy that I get to spend this time with you guys. I'm going to be here. This is in an hour, so I'm going to be here until 1. If anybody have any questions or comments, please feel free. Feel free to like, feel free to share, feel free to put a comment at the end so we can talk. Feel free to add a question, all right, about anything that we're talking about, or if you have other questions, okay? And I'm going to always work to talk about and answer your questions during this hour. But if there's somebody I don't get to, we will make sure we respond to you in the messenger, okay? All right? All right, loves? Okay, so now, after they finish writing down all the questions, send them somewhere where they're going to be by themselves, and then they're going to answer the questions themselves. You're not going to be there. We have to start teaching our children to function independently and to work independently, to get their work done independently. It's not all about, I don't know how, which my students aren't allowed to say. I can't, my students aren't allowed to say that. But it's not allowed, and that's another way to change your child thinking. Whenever you see someone, your child, or hear your child saying phrases like this, you got to wipe it out, because that's only keeping them stuck in the same place, right? So it's not always about getting it right. It's about them sitting down and focusing on it for a while and growth starting to happen. Even if today, when they sit down and write, they have a lot of writing mistakes. You know, they have a lot of spelling mistakes. Tomorrow, next week, next month, with growth and the right structure in place and the right plan in place, that's not going to be the same as it is today. So they must do it themselves, even if they struggle, even if it's hard, even if it ends up not being right. That's part of their growth journey, okay? All right? All right, so after they finish writing it, they're going to read it aloud to you, okay? While they're reading aloud, you be quiet at first, okay? You listen, because it's really about them being able to read over the questions again. Now they're trying to start to change their subconscious, okay? They're reading over the question again, and they are reading aloud their own answer. They must do this. Write it in there. As soon as they start writing the answers down, they're changing their thinking. As soon as they start writing. The pen is powerful, y'all. The pen is powerful for growth. I've used the pen myself for my own growth years. Okay, I wouldn't be here right now if I hadn't done that. Use the same thing with our children. Okay? Then when they get up and read it aloud, even if it's choppy, even if they're struggling a little bit, be patient and let them figure out what they're trying to say. And have them read the question, then read their answer. And listen until you get to the end. Okay? So when you listen and you get to the end, the key thing you're looking for is, did they take responsibility for their actions? If your child answers a question and they're like, the problem is I don't have my classwork done, I have backed up assignments, and then you say, why do you have this problem? Because the teacher didn't help me. You need to go back and do number 2 over. That's not right. You need to go back and do number 2 over. Take responsibility. Think about why you. Don't say teacher. Don't say mom. Don't say brothers and sisters. Don't say. It's all about you. So go back and do number 2 over. When you finish doing number 2, and I call you, be ready for me. and then you can go again. So they may have to do this a couple of times. That's growth. That's good. Go about your business. If you're in the kitchen, cook and cook. If you're watching your show, watch your show. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing your hair, do your hair. If you need to tend to other kids, tend to other kids. Because they need to develop self-responsibility and accountability. And it's not about you, moms and dads, stopping your whole life to focus on helping them solve their problem. It's about, I'm working to solve my problem, and it better be right, so that if mom or dad takes a break from what they're doing, that I'm ready. Because if I'm not ready, they're going to send me back over here. And if you think that's not, that doesn't work, I've been doing this for years. When I had my first special education class, because first I was a mental health specialist, then I was a special education teacher, okay? But when I had my first special education class, this is how I grew a lot of my students' behavior. It was special education for behavior. I had a lot of behavior. They couldn't write, they couldn't spell, but they sure enough sat over in that area while we were doing what we were doing, and they were working on that. And then they couldn't come interrupt us. Like, I'm ready now. I had to call them when I was ready. And then I had the other kids doing what they were doing. And then, all right, come on. And then I'll listen to them, and then I'll coach them, on spelling and everything after they've written it themselves. And if they needed to go back and change something, they needed to go right back over there. That's your thinking area. And change it, okay? So, have them do that. Have them go back if they need to grow. Now, when they finish, if you're satisfied if you feel like they have thought it out, they took responsibility for their actions, and they also now have thought about how to fix it, and it sounds like a good plan, now it's time to edit. Now you know I was going to throw some literacy in there, didn't you? It's writing. It's writing. Now it's time to edit. Going to look over, and they're going to edit for capitalization, punctuation, spelling, right? Make sure everything is straight in it, okay? When you're coaching them and they are finding their mistakes and you're finding their mistakes, whenever they, say they had 3 of them that they had to fix it. Every time they fix a sentence, start over and read everything again. Then, all right, let's go to the next sentence. They fix that sentence. Start over and read everything again. Then they go to the next sentence, right? The third sentence. Fix what you need to fix in there. Start over and read everything again. Why do I do this? I do this with my students. I did this with one of my students last night. That's growth. That's reading. That's spelling. Okay? Every time they do it over, every time they read it over, they can catch their mistakes, their own mistakes themselves, and then edit it. Every time they read it over, they are practicing their reading, okay? Especially if they had some words spelled wrong, and they now fix the words. Now I see how it's supposed to be spelled. Every time they read it over, they're fixing their spelling, or they're learning how to spell, okay? Have them read it over each time. You get to the end, good job. All right? So now, here's another one. So now they talk about how they're going to solve their problem. So now what I have for you, I have some positive thinking and growth writing sentences for you to get your child to write and then go through the same editing processes. Now, here's the thing. It has to be customized. So what I'm giving you right now is general, okay? And it's based off of what I've seen over the years, over 15 years working with children and helping them grow their thinking, okay? So it's very general, but I'm going to give you these questions, statements. These are statements. They're like affirmations. But if there's something else that you see your child needs to improve or needs to put in here, then you add it. You add it, okay? Because that's your child, you're the parent, you know them best, and it's all about their growth. So you look at your child and see These will grow your child all on their own. But if there's something else that you think that you need to add in here, add it. If one of these don't apply to you or your child, take it out. It's all customized. It's what you think as a parent. Trust yourselves, okay? And moms, follow your mother's intuition. That is some strong stuff. You hear me? When it comes to your child, right? Connect to your child, figure out what you want. How's everybody doing? You have any questions, any comments, post them there. And like I said, I'll talk about them while we're doing the live. If there's something I missed, if you're watching this later, then I will definitely contact you through Messenger. We'll make sure we contact you and answer all your questions, okay? All right, loves. Now, let's go on to the next part. I'm excited about this. Okay. Number one, okay? Have your child write this down. Have them write number one, okay? Now, when you're doing it, please do not be sitting next to your child when they're writing this stuff. Do not do that, okay? And I'm saying this from experience as an educator, but also as a mental health specialist, but also as a mom. When my daughter was young, one of the biggest mistakes I did was when it was time for her to do her work, we were sitting next to, man, she was almost in my lap, okay? We sat so close, and everything that she was doing, because she didn't want to do her work, everything that she was doing, I was watching, I was guiding her, I was getting her back focused, I was getting her back on track. And it was crazy because as an educator and as a mental health specialist, I never did that. But when you become a mom, sometimes you lose it a little bit. You don't realize. I had to give myself a kick in the behind, like, what are you even doing? Okay? So make sure when you're doing this, either you're standing up, like right now, I'm in my living room, so the couch is here, and the kitchen is right there. So let's say your child was sitting in the living room, and I got a little table right here. So let's say you had them set up in the living room, and they sit at the table, you over there in the kitchen. You halfway in, you halfway out. You got things to do. But you're saying it, they better listen, be ready, and write it down. Okay? Or if they at the table in the kitchen, same thing. If you cooking, you concentrating on that, they better listen, be ready while you write this, while you say it so they can write this down. Number one, well, the problem was, the example that we were talking about was I have late assignments or missing assignments. My assignments are piled up. I'm about to fail because I didn't get my stuff in. So number one is I always complete my assignments early or on time. I always complete my assignments early or on time. How do you spell assignments? Don't ask me that. It was last night. I was with the student I was telling you about, and we were doing this. And she has totally different, because there's a different situation. She has totally different positive growth writing affirmations that I gave her. One of the words was considerate, and she was writing, and she said, "How do you spell considerate?" And I was like, "What?" I said, then I started coughing. I'm like, "Girl, you made me choke. You know nothing." She started laughing because my students can't ask me how to spell stuff. Like, are you serious? I said, "You got me in here choking. How dare you ask me how to spell something? You spell it, okay? And then tell me how you spelled it, and we see how close you came if you got it right." That's how I roll, all right? I'm not going to spell it for you because I don't know how you spell it or how you see it. I'm not going to coach you like that. I want to see what you got so far, what your strengths are in the spelling, and what's your growth areas in there, and then we're going to fill in the gaps afterwards, honey. Don't be asking me how to spell nothing. What? They all know that, down to the 4 or 5-year-olds. They all know Miss Rita don't do that, okay? Have me choking and everything. All right, so if they say, "How do you spell that?" Be like, "Don't ask me that. Spell it how you think you spell it, and we'll go over it later." All right? Do your best. All right? Keep it moving. Now, right now, you're not talking. You're just writing. Okay? I always... give her some time to write it. Complete. Give her some time to write it. My assignments on time. And you can say it like 2 or 3 times, right? So make sure they got it. Number 2, I finish early and check my work. I finish early and check my work. Okay? Have them write this. I finish early and check my work. So if your child is playing around, they doing their work a little bit, but they playing around doing everything else, or they on their phone in school, which they shouldn't be having phones out in the classroom on their phones. If they on their phones and they just chilling, and then it's like, oh, that's where I got to do work, or the teacher is like, get back on your work, and they're like, oh, okay, they do a little bit, and then they chill a little bit. They're taking too many breaks. I mean, you ain't supposed to be taking no break. That pencil's supposed to be moving the entire time. Eyes on your paper, pencil moving. That's what I tell my students all the time. When I look up, I want everybody's eyes on their paper and their pencil moving. Okay? So when you do that, you finish early. Because the teachers in school be giving kids a lot of time to complete work. A lot. Okay? We need to pick up the pace at home. Alright? I finish early, then I check my work. Every single time. Alright? That's number 2. Number 3. This is for the I need help. I can't do it. Kids. Okay? Because they're learning how to function independently, do it on their own first. Okay? And they're learning how to grow each time they work. So, number 3 is a good one. Number 3 is, if there is something I need to learn, comma, I circle it, comma, then practice it every day until I master it. That's your responsibility. If it's something you don't know, if it's a math problem that you did, you had to work on, you gonna work on it until during the class. Like, you gonna work on it, and you gonna figure out, you gonna see how far you get, and then you gonna do that with every math problem. You gonna do your best. We're not asking for help at all, actually. And I know a lot of y'all might be like, what? They should be able to ask for help. No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. They should do their best. And then they should let their teacher know, I worked on this, and I did it, I did it. This area I had a little trouble with, and this is what I thought I should do. I just wanted to check and see how close I got, or if it's right, what else I need to do. They have to put in the work first. There's no asking for help, because let me tell you, the kids will sit in class, they will have the teacher do whatever they're doing, teaching, and then they will play around, and then when the teacher's done, they'll be like, I need help. I don't know how to do this. Now the teacher got to teach it again, individually. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. So as soon as the teacher say get started, they have to get started, okay? And they have to pay attention while the teacher is teaching, all right? All right, so I'm going to read that again. If there is something I need to learn, not I need help with, if there is something I need to learn, comma, I will circle it, comma, then practice it every day until I master it. I use that word master in my program all the time, okay? Master it. That means I got it. Like, I'm the best at this. I'm the bomb at this. I don't need no help. I got it. Miss Rita, you ain't ready for me. I still start talking junk. Hey, Tanikia, what's up, lady? Welcome. She said, that's my son that gets tired of the I need help request. He's 6 and don't try. Right. Oh, 6 is a good age to start. I mean, 4 in my program, we started at 4. They're not allowed, okay? Right. So a lot of kids do that. And why do they do that? Because we are around them ready to help. Ready to help. We are help. We have help right across our foreheads. We're here to help you, right? So they think when they sit down, I don't need to really work at this or really think or figure it out because mommy right there, teacher right there. No, we not. We not here. You gotta think. How you doing today, Tamikia? How's your Saturday going? Do you have some tea? Like, I'm drinking tea. I wanted to drink tea with y'all today while I was talking and everything, and I'm loving it. It's a mixture of peppermint tea and orange tea. Got some honey in it. You know what I mean? I am feeling it today. But how you feel? Did you take care of yourself in the morning? I know you took care of your kids. Did you take care of yourself? Are you having a great Saturday? Okay? Let me know. Because when we are working to improve our children's behavior and learning from home, That means we're not waiting for the school to do it. That means our children has 2 teachers. That means our children have 2 classrooms. If they're older, they got all those teachers, for all the subjects if they're in high school, and they have us. Okay? Home is a learning environment as well. If we're working to improve their behavior, they know how to push our buttons. We've been telling them the same thing over and over and over, and it ain't sink in yet. That could be frustrating, okay? So in order to do that, we have to be in tip-top shape. Take care of ourselves, get enough sleep, do things that bring us joy, have a good time with life, and so that we can have their responsibility be their responsibility, all right? We'll talk more about, matter of fact, I talk about that all the time, y'all. For real. I know because I've been there. As a mom, I was a mom, but I wasn't a woman. I wasn't Sharita. I was just, everything was for my child, and I was neglecting myself very severely. And the more I did that, the more I realized my child's not functioning independently. And we were joined at the hip, okay? We were joined at the hip. And I had to change what I was doing, but I had to take care of myself, and I had to be busy sometimes. Taking care of myself while you work on that writing. Okay? So that's why I keep checking in with y'all, because I know, I understand, okay? All right. Here's the next thing. So we got so far, we have a hashtag replay on this to be here, because we talked about some questions for our children to write down. As a matter of fact, I'll just review them really quickly. The first one is, what is the current issue or problem you're having? Number 2 is, why do I have this problem? Why? But they have to take responsibility. They can't say it's your fault, teacher's fault, nobody's fault, okay? Number 3, what do you think about what you are doing right now? Like, how are you handling this problem? What do you think about it, okay? Number 4, what should you be doing instead? Like, now that you establish what you're doing is nonsense, and it's not getting you nowhere, right? What should you be doing instead? Make sure they think. Number 5, how are you going to fix it? And step back. Have them sit down. Have them now answer each question, okay, themselves, without any help, without you, you know what I mean? Have them. And then if they can't write, if they can't spell yet, or they're older and they struggle in this area, they still have to write something. They still have to write something, even if they don't know how to spell it. Have them write something. And then later on, when they read it to you, they're reading their thoughts. They're reading out loud the question, and they're reading out loud the thoughts, okay, that they wrote down. And then they can edit and learn how to write it. So make sure they do something first. All right? So now I have some positive thinking and growth writing statements. They're like affirmations. Every child is different. Every situation is different, customized according to what you want your child to accomplish, how you want them to improve, what thinking they need to change, okay? So last night I did this exercise with one of my students, one of my high school students, and it was great. It was a success. So I was inspired to now share this with you all today, all right? But it was different than these. These are based off of, if your child is not working, they're not doing their assignments, they are not working by themselves, they are behind in their assignments, they have way overdue assignments, late assignments, and they just chilling. You're like, what are you doing playing the game like you don't have nothing to do? Okay, right? Number 1, they have to write, I always complete my assignments on time. That's a big problem. I always complete my assignments on time. Number 2, I finish early and check my work. I finish early and check my work. Number 3, if there is something I need to learn, comma, I circle it, then practice it every day until I master it. Period. Now your child is writing these. If they have a hard time spelling some of these words, young kids have this hard time, and then I have kids that are middle school when they come to me, or high school when they come to me, and they struggle the same way as somebody younger. have them still write it, and then do their best. Write what you think, how you think it's spelled, okay? And then later on, you can see what they know and what they don't know. And then you can coach them to fill in the gaps. That's how I've been teaching kids for years. And it's amazing. You can teach a 4-year-old how to read. Maya is 5 years old and she knows how to read. She's reading a chapter book. It's a 4.5 level. We're taking turns reading pages, okay? And children that come into my program when they're in middle school or high school and they have not been reading, they don't know how to read, they don't even know their letter sounds or sight words, they start reading. So you can teach a child at any age how to read, and I firmly believe that, okay? All right, number 4, I always figure it out. This is a good one. I always figure it out. Why is this such a good one? Because it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know how to do it at first, okay? It's okay to get the wrong answer. We get the wrong answer all the time in my program. And then we just keep going till we get it right. Do I tell them the right answer? No. Do I tell them the steps? No. I want to see how they do it first. I want them to tell me what they did. I want us to discuss it. I want to ask them, what do you think you should do next? What do you think you should do? What do you think you should do next? So what do you think you went wrong? We do all of that. And then we learn the steps. Okay? When I tell you they be working, they be working. I told my students one day, I was like, you know what? It would be cool if we did like an 8-hour session on a Saturday. And they was all like, no, Bishop, that's too much. That's too much. We be tired. I mess with them all the time. The longest class I have is a 2-hour class. And then they get a break in between because, honey, they are writing and explaining out loud and thinking the whole entire time. But we do have moments where we laugh together, talk to each other, get to know each other. All right, so number 4 was I always figure it out. Number 5, I am very good at studying, period. I'm very good at studying. I'm very good. Like, I got this. Like there's not a test that I'm worried about because I know how to study. I'm very good at it. So they write, I am very good at studying. Remember, you're going to have them write all of these in a present tense as if this is their current reality. Not, I will always complete my assignments on time. We ain't got time for that. Now I will. Sometime in the future. Sometime when I feel like it, I know I'll get better one day. None of that. I will finish early and check my work. But I finish early and I check my work. This one is, number 5, is I am very good at studying. Number 6, include yourself in there and whoever else is influential in their lives that care about their learning, okay? My parents or my mom or my dad, whatever fits for your situation, my parents and teachers are impressed with my work. My parents and teachers are impressed with my work, okay? Now, that's going to happen. Their work is going to start improving, and y'all going to be excited, and that's going to feel good to them. So, but they have to see it in their minds before they become something that might be real to them, and they have to start saying it first, okay? Because right now, they may be used to y'all not being happy with their work because they're not putting in the effort, and they're always trying to run away from it, okay? And a child that does something on their own and is successful is the best thing ever, and that is the greatest gift you can give your child. And they get too much help. A lot of kids get too much help. And we think that we're helping them by helping them move along and not be stuck. Man, I see this all the time. I saw it recently. 2 of my students yesterday. What is a new student just came in? Okay. And she was editing her writing. Her writing, she struggles with her writing a lot. And it was a word that she had to spell. And we were doing a cultural spelling. So she got to a point where she picked the correct letter when she was editing the word, and it was spelled correctly. And she said, I said, great job, you got it. And she said, oh, I got it right? I said, yeah. She's in the 3rd grade. The other student I'm talking about, she's in middle school. She's in the 8th grade. Same thing with a math problem. She was stuck with a math problem. She didn't know how to do it. I was getting her to think and asking her what does she think she needs to do next. And if she gave me the wrong answer, then I would say, nope, not that, keep going. Nope, not that, keep going. Nope, getting close, keep going. What's next? Let's go. I don't give her a chance to say, oh, this is hard. Oh, I got it wrong. We don't care about getting it wrong. Keep going. Think again. Think again. Think again. Think again. Think again. And then she got it. And then I said, yes, that's what I'm talking about. She's like, oh, I got it right. I did it. Oh my God. She was so excited she started writing. Do not tell your kid. Don't do it for them. Don't spell it for them. Because if you spell it for them now, you're going to be spelling it for them for the rest of their school year. If you write it for them now, if you read it for them now, teach them how to think and keep going till they get it right. Because they are so excited and proud of themselves. And they walk out of the session, I'm talking about coaching, but they will walk out, they will close their book that day with you, and they will feel good about themselves. Self-esteem is something that's earned, and it happens when you are growing, okay? It happens when they are growing and working, and that's how they'll get that confidence. That's how they get their self-esteem back. Because not being able to do something means you feel like a failure every single day. So, no more helping them. Have them write it. Have them do it themselves. So, what do we have so far? Number 1, I always complete my assignments on time. Period. Make sure they put that period at the end. Capital at the beginning. Number 2, I finish early and check my work. Right? Number 3, if there is something I need to learn, comma, I circle it, comma, then practice it every day until I master it. I got this. Number 4, where's number 4? Oh, there we go. I always figure it out. I get it wrong, I ain't worried about it. I know I'm going to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to keep going till I figure it out. I always figure it out. Number 5, I am very good at studying. Number 6, my parents and teachers are impressed with my work. All right? Number 7, I am so happy. I am so happy. I am so happy that my grades keep going up. Honey, I've seen that. I've seen that since when I first started teaching to now. When kids' grades start coming up, when they go from getting F's and D's to B's and A's and they didn't think they could do it before, all right? I'm so happy that my grades keep going up. Now, when I first started teaching, it was like I said, a behavior, a special education class, right? Behavior. But they didn't know how to read or spell either, okay? Only one student could read. The rest of the students, they had a lot of trouble with reading and spelling, okay? So when we started doing spelling tests every week. Now, they had run because I was a permanent substitute teacher. I hadn't been certified yet. Substitute teacher bouncing from school to school, which you don't want that life, okay? that's too much work. But when you get a class of your own, you can grow the class and have structure and have standards so that you can see them grow. All right? All right, so what you want to see. When I started giving them spelling tests every week, at first their scores would be 23, 30, something like that, right? Very low scores. They feel awful about it. I will always pull them, and I will have the students working on another assignment while I pull them individually so that we can review their spelling words, their spelling tests. They always got review time afterwards. They always got to see what their score was. They always got review time. They always were able to grow and figure it out and turn a wrong answer to a right one. And incorporate that with your children. I mean, it's amazing. It works wonders. So, what I was looking for and what I was feeding to them is this week when you did a spelling test, right? You got 20 and 30. We went over the test. Then next week, it was 20 and 30, but today you got 40 on the test? You went from 20 or 30 to 40? Then the next week, it's 60 now? 20 or 30. Now you got a 60-year test. How you do that? They smiling ear to ear, so excited. It's 4th or 5th graders, mostly boys. I had one girl in there, it was my princess, okay, of the class, but mostly boys, and they were beaming. They still failed, right? They still got very low grades. It wasn't a B or an A, but you want to acknowledge that growth, okay? So that's what I mean by I'm so happy that my grades keep going up, because if they see that their grade has gone up from last time, then they know that it could go up again. And they see it keep going up, they know that eventually they want to get to a B and an A. And that's the self-motivation. That's when the self-motivation kicks in. And when a child is self-motivated, look out, honey. You can't do nothing with them. You got to catch up with them, okay? So you want them to keep striving for better and keep growing till they get to the point where they're looking at and they can see my grades keep going up. Every market period, I had D's and F's. This market period, for the first time, I got some C's in there. This market period, for the first time, I got B's and C's. I didn't have not one F. You understand what I'm saying? So growth, no matter where it is, we want to see and we want to acknowledge growth and have them keep working on it. All right? And then the last one is, I get better and better at this every day. Honey, I get better and better at this every day. I got this, okay? Now I'm thinking about my students and talking junk. Like, I'd be like, y'all ain't ready for this. Miss Shrita, you ain't ready for us. We about to spell this word, okay? I'm like, I'll see, but this is one of my good ones. Y'all know, y'all ain't never seen a word like this. Let's go, Miss Shrita. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we be talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? But you want them to get that confidence in them to be talking like this. I get better and better at this every day. I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a problem, okay? All right, so those are the positive thinking and growth writing affirmations, okay? Positive thinking. Everything is positive. Everything is right now. This is how I am right now. Even if that's not what it looks like. When they step outside that bubble, when y'all in that bubble, when you are in that growth bubble, when you are growing your child and you are feeding them and speaking life into them and they are taking it and writing it down, because they have to be active. It's not all you doing this for them. They have to be writing, and later on they're going to edit it like we talked about earlier, and they're going to read it aloud and edit it and read it again, right? But when you're doing that, you are growing, your child is growing, and they have to take accountability. It can't be just you giving this to them. So when you're doing that, you guys are in a growth bubble. I know when we were over there, you were acting up, or you had missing assignments, or you had, you weren't doing your work, and I just got an email from the teacher and all this other stuff. Now it's fix-it time and it's growth time, okay? So when you are in that growth bubble, you are feeding them and growing their mind. And every time they write this over, and every time they edit it and write it over and read it out loud, you are changing their subconscious. You are changing how they are thinking. And when you change how you think, your body starts to move. Connections start to be made. More ideas flow as to how I can get better at this. So they must write it. And then it's not finished. After they edit it, after they learn how to spell it, after they learn how to read it all on their own, now they're going to, and after they've read it to you, now they're going to hang it up somewhere after they can see it every day. And every day they're going to read it. Every day they're going to read it aloud. Okay? And if you get another email from a teacher, do it again. You got some more growing to do. Let's go. Get that pencil or get that pen. Sit down. Time to write. But this time, you're going to take your paper off the wall and you're going to recopy everything. You're going to recopy the questions and the answers that you said that you wrote before, how you're going to solve this problem, and then you're going to rewrite your positive thinking and growth affirmations. You're going to write them down. Again, you're going to copy them. This time, they'll know how to read it on their own. This time, they'll know how to spell it. You understand? It's all growth. Okay? So have them constantly thinking and trying to figure out how to answer their own solve their own problems, writing down the questions and answers, writing down these affirmations. They're accountable to the paper and their own affirmations. They're accountable to that. They're accountable to the questions and answers that they said that they were going to do. It's no longer your problem. That's a big thing. It's no longer mom is going to take care of this for me or daddy's going to take care of this for me. But in the meantime, when they figuring out how to take care of this for me, I'm just going to play the game. Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, y'all. Right, Tweaking? We ain't doing that now. We ain't doing that, okay? So have them read it every single day. You got this, okay? So this has been live on Saturday with Sharita, okay? We're talking about how to improve our children's thinking. Do this exercise. Like I said, we're going to have this typed up. Hannah is working behind the scenes. She's been taking care of a lot of stuff that you've been seeing, okay? And she designed the logo. And also, my husband actually had the idea, came up with the concept. So I just want to say thank you to my husband from the bottom of my heart, to Kevin, and also thank you to Hannah. Y'all are wonderful. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your hard work and for your support, okay? So next week, we're going to tune in next Saturday at 12 o'clock. We're going to be talking about how to get your child's teacher to have higher expectations for your child. I want to tell you some stories of how I did that with my students and stuff, all right? How to have your teacher have higher expectations for your child. If your child's acted up in school, not doing their work, after a while, the teacher's trying to teach, it's just trying to maintain them in the classroom. And then the focus is no longer on learning because you can't do behavior and learning together. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to improve our children's behavior from home. And we're going to talk about how to communicate with the teacher so that the teacher starts to see your child differently and have higher expectations for their bond because they need to get it together, okay? All right? Do you want your child to improve their behavior, focus, and or learning? Then book a free consultation with me at growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. We will do a free consultation, and in that consultation, I want to know from you what your biggest concerns and challenges are for your child, what you want your child to accomplish. I meet with your child, and I will do an assessment. Then I create an action plan so that we make sure that your child grows. And if you want to be in my tutoring coaching program, definitely book an appointment. And then I use that action plan to create success for your child, okay? It's all customized, all right? All right, y'all? Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, Tamika, for your comments and hanging with me, all right? Appreciate you, girl. All right, like I said, feel free. This is a community where we're all growing our children together. So feel free to post your comments, to ask your questions. If I get questions after this live, you're watching it later, then I will reach out to you. We would definitely make sure all your questions get answered, okay, through Messenger. All right? All right? Believe in yourself, believe in your child, honey, and always remember that growth is unlimited.